Hey, you guys, it's Kendra with the Key Resource, and today we're going to be comparing some of the most popular online property management platforms for small to medium sized landlords. So, if you self manage your property, you probably use one of these platforms. If you're not using one of these, you probably have thought about using one of them and is trying to figure out which one is the best. So, we're going to look at the following platforms: apartments.com, Avail, Baselane, Easy Landlord Forms, Rent Ready, Stessa, and Tenant Cloud. And the features we're looking at: listing, applications, screening, leases, payments, maintenance tracking, income and expense tracking, and banking. And so what you'll see is on the far right column, I'm looking at cost. So I'm sure what sticks out to you is that some of them are free, right? But make sure you watch till the end because there's still some hidden costs there, even with the free ones. And so you really got to make sure you're comparing what features they have, the cost, and how it all kind of ties into what you need. So let's start with apartments.com. Apartments.com is a one-stop shop where you can list your property for people to see it. You can take applications, you can do background checks, credit checks, you can accept leases, accept rental payments, all of that. You can do everything right there with apartments.com except for banking, and it's free, right? And don't forget, I'm going to go into the nuances of the cost at the end, but it's free. With Avail, you can do everything apartments.com does. I actually currently use Avail myself, and I prefer it over apartments.com just because the interface is better. I think it's more user friendly. They have so many resources. I just like it better. I also meant to mention that all the links for each of these platforms is right below this video. So if you want to check them out, you can. So with Avail, one stop shop, all those same resources as apartments.com, except for, they don't have banking either. Avail has a free plan and they have a $5 a month plan. Take a look at their site and you can compare and contrast which one will be best for you, if it's worth it to do $5 a month or not. Now we'll go to the next one, which is Baselane. Baselane is very unique because it's not a platform you would use to like take applications or do leases or anything like that. With Baselane, you can accept rental payments from tenants. And what they really do really well is their analytics. And so once you link your accounts, like whatever bank accounts that you have for your properties, once you link those expenses and that income is all going to be tracked in Baselane, and you can categorize expenses. It's really, really cool, like really modern, really just easy to use and understand. And it helps you stay organized and it helps you look at your properties from a more high level perspective. So instead of just being like, you know, as a landlord, you get bogged down in the day to day, right? But have you really looked at over the past year, past 2 years, what has the cash flow been looking like? What's the return on investment? Like all those really geeky like formulas and numbers, looking at charts and looking at all that kind of stuff. That's what Baselane does really well. And it makes it easier for tax time and just for your personal knowledge, like how well are your properties performing? They also have banking. And so that's something that I've personally never seen any online landlord platform do. They have banking where you can set up business debit cards, so you can use those for your expenses for your properties. You can set up one for each property or however you want to do it. But they also have it to where you're earning interest on purchases for those debit cards. And so that's really cool. And I just got an email today where they increased the interest where it's, I think, 2.4 APY. And so I think that is incredibly unique. And Baselane is free. And so, again, the link to Baselane is right below this video as well. You don't have to accept payments through Baselane. You can if you want to set your tenants up to pay through Baselane. But if you're using any other platform to accept payments, you can still use Baselane for tracking, right? And so, like I said, take a look. I mean, it's free to sign up, like absolutely free. And so it doesn't hurt to just try it out, take a look around and see how it works. So that's Baselane. You can accept payments, You have really robust tracking and analytics, and you can set up business banking. They also have a couple other features. I'll talk about that at the end when I'm going through the cost, but they do have a couple other features as well that well, they have a couple other like partners they work with to provide other services as well. I'll say that. So the next one is Easy Landlord Forms. So Easy Landlord Forms actually started off as a company where you could get like legally attorney, let me reword that. You could get state specific forms and that are drafted by attorneys to run your rentals like a business, right? And so if you needed an eviction notice or a 30-day, violation notice or a move out or move in inspection checklist, Easy Landlord Forms has all of the forms you can think of. A contractor agreement, things like that, where I think, talking to a bunch of landlords, making sure you have the right forms in place is often one of the scariest parts. Like, how do I know if I'm sending the right thing? Is it legally sound? So with Easy Landlord Forms, not only can you get all those forms you need and they're state specific, but you can also do applications, screening, and leases. And so you can't list your property there. You cannot accept payments, but you can get applications, you can do background and credit checks, and you can, of course, get leases because they have state specific leases right there ready for you to download and use. With Easy Landlord Forms, there is a free version, and then there are a few different tiers. And so I put $0 to $349 because for $349, you basically have lifetime access to everything on the site, like all the forms and stuff like that. But like I said, I'll get into the nuances of the cost at the end of the video because I want to make sure you understand like how it all breaks out for each feature. So Easy Landlord Forms is great because you can still use any other platform you want. Like if you want to use Avail and just use Easy Landlord Forms for like whatever legal forms you need to send your tenants, right? Or you could use, just Easy Landlord Forms if you only need screening, you don't need anything else, right? And so that's why I wanted to put this here. Take a screenshot of this if you need, save this video, whatever you need to do, because I want to make sure you understand what each one offers. So the next one is Rent Ready. I've never used Rent Ready. Let me say this. I have actually tried apartments.com. I'm currently using Avail. I have a Base Lane account and I have used Easy Landlord Forms, right? So I want you to know that. I've never used Rent Ready. And so I can't speak from a user experience, but from looking at their website, they do offer listing, applications, screening, leases, payments, maintenance, and income and expense tracking. The lowest plan is $9 a month. The highest plan is $19 a month for Rent Ready. This is important that if you're thinking, well, all these other ones we talked about before, they're free or they have a $0 a month plan, but Rent Ready is $9 a month minimum. We're going to talk about it at the end, the nuances of like all the other hidden costs, right, for the other ones. So Stessa is also a platform where it's not a one-stop shop, but basically you can accept payments from your tenants and you can do like the income and expense tracking. And so Stessa is kind of similar to Base Lane where they're really there for you to analyze your property and to have all the numbers you need to know how the properties are performing and to, stay organized for tax time, like all that kind of stuff. That's what Stessa does. It's also free, but Stessa does not do banking. And so that is important to note. Now, the last one I have on this list is Tenant Cloud. With Tenant Cloud, it does everything that apartments.com and Avail and Rent Ready does, the listing applications, like the whole gamut, right? With Tenant Cloud, they have a plan that's $0 a month, and then they have a plan that is $40 a month. And so they do have a free plan, but it does go up to $40 a month. So that's it, you guys. I'm gonna now switch over to talking about cost, but I wanted to just get this out there and kind of compare and contrast. Hopefully this has been helpful so far, but let's talk about the hidden costs that I was mentioning earlier so that you can make a really informed decision. Okay, so remember earlier we were looking at the different features, and one of the features is that these platforms, some of the platforms accept payments from you can accept payments from your tenants. And so um, I have my notes right here because it's a lot of detail to remember. So for the ones that accept payments, there are sometimes fees associated with accepting payments from tenants. And that's why I said, yeah, it might be free, but what are the hidden costs? And so let's just go down the line. For apartments.com, it says tenants can choose to pay with their checking accounts for free, or they can pay with a debit or credit card for a 2.75% fee. So apartments.com is free for the landlord, and it's free for the tenant to pay with the checking account, or it's free for the tenant to use a checking account to pay. So if they connect their checking account and pay with that, it's free for the tenant. So it's free for you, the landlord, and free for the tenant to pay with the checking account. The cost comes in for the tenant if they use a debit or credit card. And so it's a 2.75% fee for a tenant to pay with a debit or credit card, which it really isn't bad because some of these other platforms actually charge the landlord to accept payments. And you'll see what I mean in a second, right? So the next one is Avail. For landlords on the Unlimited Plus plan, there are no fees when tenants pay with a bank account. With the free plan, so Unlimited Plus is the $5 a month plan. If you pay $5 a month, there's no fee for your tenants to pay using a bank account. If you're on the free plan, tenants have to pay a $2.50 fee per bank transfer, or if they use a credit or debit card, there's a 3.5% processing fee. All right. So with Avail, if you're using the free plan, your tenants have to pay a fee to pay, whether they're using a debit card, credit card, or a bank transfer. There's a fee. Now, I know from using Avail that the landlord can choose to absorb that payment, that fee, if you want. So I want to make that distinction. Again, if you're using the $5 a month plan, there's no fee if your tenant pays with a bank account. If you're using a free plan, then your tenant has to pay $2.50 extra to pay with a bank account, right? If a credit or debit card is used, there's a 3.5% processing fee regardless of the plan you use. So if you use Avail and you have a $0 a month plan or a $5 a month plan and your tenant uses a credit card, they're going to be paying a 3.5% fee. All right, so that's Avail. So BaseLane is free. It's just free. That's it. No hidden costs for BaseLane. Easy Landlord Forms. Okay, so this one actually, if you look on the site, Easy Landlord Forms has a free subscription where you can get access to some free forms. They also have a 30-day, like a 30-day membership where you can download as many things as you need in 30 days. They also have a monthly subscription, and they also have like like I said, for $349, you get lifetime access, which in my opinion is the best value because you can download whatever you need, for the lifetime of your rental business. So I think that's pretty cool. And so let's see here. That is Easy Landlord Forms. So Rent Ready. For Rent Ready, bank account and ACH payments, there's only a $1 processing fee. Plus, tenants can make secure payments through Plaid, which is like that payment processing platform. So Rent Ready, there's only a $1 processing fee. It doesn't say whether the landlord can like absorb that payment or not, but I mean, I guess it's really up to you. But with Avail, like if you absorb the payment, there's like an actual feature where you set that. But I mean, you could, with Rent Ready, if you wanted to absorb the fee, you could just change the rent amount. I don't know. Anyway, there's a $1 processing fee with Rent Ready for payments. And then Stessa, with Stessa, ACH bank account payments are absolutely free. So that's really cool. It didn't say anything about credit or debit payments, but ACH payments on Stessa are free. Tenant Cloud. With Tenant Cloud, it says you can accept direct bank payments and tenants pay a $2.95 fee if you have a free plan. If you're on the starter plan, which is the next plan up after free, it's $1.50 for your tenant to make payments. If you're on the growth plan, which is the next plan up from there, it's $1.25 for your tenants to make payments. And it says landlords can cover the fees. And so this is what I was talking about, y'all. Like, I know that was a mouthful. The links to all of these platforms are below in the description of this video, but it's important to kind of weigh the pros and cons of the different fees for accepting payments. All of these sites, like, they have different functions and features. And if you look at the ones that do the same things, like Apartments.com, Avail, RentRedi, and Tenant Cloud all do the exact same things, but they have different fees and they have different payment processing fees. And so you really want to make sure you look at that. I know one thing for sure, like if you look at Avail versus Apartments.com, Avail does send your listing to more sites. So basically what they do is like when you list your rental property on any of these sites that do listings, excuse me, when you list it, they basically send it out to a whole bunch of the major sites that people go to look at apartments on, right? And so Avail does send to more of those sites. That's really great. Oh, and I meant one more feature that I meant to mention is on Baselane. So, like I said, Baselane does payments, maintenance, payments, and income and expense tracking and banking. The other thing that Baselane has is access to insurance for landlords. Like you can get a really great insurance quote, and also you can get access to loans. And so it's a really seamless loan quote process. It's like really, really easy, super fast, really transparent. And so that's another great thing about Baselane too, is they also have the insurance platform and the loan platform. And so that's it, you guys. I tried to keep this under 20 minutes and I succeeded. So I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. Please go to each site and really look at the different plans and the different features because there's so much detail there, right? And I tried to summarize as best as I could, but it's so important that you go and see it and make the best decision for you. None of the information on this video is legal or financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and make the best decision for you and your business. All right, until next time, I will talk to you later.